Let us enter into the Word. Recently, I came across some reflections about Saint Catherine of Siena. She was a mystic that lived in the 14th century, and she was declared a doctor of the Church. She had some real deep mystical experiences of God, and God revealed certain things to her. And one of the striking things about her experiences of God's revelation was about heaven, purgatory, and hell. The thing that struck me about Catherine's revelation was that she said that only those who perfectly loved God entered heaven. And purgatory was for those who were imperfect in their love for God. And hell was those who had hatred for God or people who were indifferent to God in this world. Like, for example, the story of Divas and Lazarus in the Bible. Divas simply went to hell because he was just self-absorbed and totally ignored Lazarus, who was desperately in need of help. And so the main message from St. Catherine's revelations is that it is love that ultimately determines our entrance into heaven. And we are invited to love God perfectly and to love our neighbor and to love all things with that love of God. In today's gospel, Jesus, when asked the question, what is the greatest commandment? He said, love the Lord with all your mind, heart, strength, and soul, and to love your neighbor as you love yourself. So we are challenged today to reflect on how deep is our love for God. And this Lent is a good time for us to make that personal reflection. Do we love God fully? Is our all really all? Is God the reason why we live? Do we love God with our minds? Do we submit to truth? Are we believing in the truths of God, that there is heaven, there is hell, and that there is a way that we ought to live our lives here on earth? Do we love God with all our hearts? Do we really desire Him above everything else? Do we love God with all our strength, all our resources? Do we have that passionate drive to use all our talents and gifts solely for the glory of God? Let us acknowledge where we need to change, and let us come back to the Lord fully this Lenten season, because when God tells us to love Him, it's not so much about Him. He is the one who made us, and He knows that we will be only fully happy if we depend on Him, we trust Him completely, we follow Him completely, that we desire Him above everything else. It is only then we can experience true happiness here on earth. God bless.